The first time I realized I loved him, he was yelling at me. Not in a cruel way, more like a hurricane that accidentally swept me into its path. The problem was, hurricanes don't stop to notice the leaves they carry. Liam Hart was the golden boy of Westbrook High. Captain of the debate team, top of our AP classes, the one who knew the principal on a first-name basis. I was not that. I was the quiet kid who sat in the back of the classroom and drew comics in the margins of my math notes. We had nothing in common, except for the cruel twist of fate that put me in charge of the student council newsletter, meaning I saw him almost every day. And every day I fell a little deeper. But Liam had a boyfriend, the kind you'd see in teen drama shows. Tall, effortlessly cool, and so put together he looked like he'd stepped out of a magazine spread. His name was Adrian, and they'd been together since junior year. Everyone said they were perfect, so I stayed quiet. It wasn't just the fear of ruining what they had, it was the fear of ruining myself. I'd seen how brutal high school could be when it came to boys like me. And yet, even knowing all that, I still found myself lingering after meetings, pretending to be busy just so I could hear him talk about things that had nothing to do with me. I told myself I was content to be invisible, that I could live with the ache in my chest, as long as I got to be near him. But life has a way of dismantling the walls you build around your heart, and mine came crumbling down on the day Liam found me crying in the library. It was 2 weeks before the winter break, and the library was empty except for me. I had my head down on the table, my hoodie pulled over like a shield, trying to breathe through the weight that had been pressing on my chest all semester. My grades were slipping. My parents were fighting again. And earlier that day, I'd made the mistake of walking into the cafeteria right as Liam and Adrian shared a kiss, the kind you'd only ever see in movies, all soft and effortless. I didn't hear him come in. I only noticed when the chair across from me scraped against the floor. Evan. His voice was quieter than usual, careful. You okay? I laughed, but it was the kind of laugh that cracked in the middle. Yeah, totally fine. Just seasonal depression, maybe. He didn't smile. You've been off for weeks. I wanted to tell him everything. That I was tired of feeling invisible. That it hurt every time I saw him with Adrian. That I hated myself for wanting someone I couldn't have. But instead I shrugged. Guess I'm just not built for all this sunshine and rainbow student council stuff. He studied me for a moment, then leaned forward, elbows on the table. You don't have to be like everyone else to matter, Evan. Those words, simple, almost casual, cracked something open inside me. I looked at him and realized my love for him wasn't a crush anymore. It was something deeper, heavier, dangerous. After that day, things changed. Not in big, obvious ways. Liam was still with Adrian. Still the boy everyone admired. But he started noticing me more. Asking if I'd eaten lunch. Walking me halfway to class. Sitting next to me during meetings instead of across the table. It should have been enough, but it wasn't. Because the closer we got, the more I felt the sting of knowing I was only a friend. And then, just as winter turned to spring, I saw them fighting. It was outside the gym after basketball practice. Adrian's voice was sharp, cutting through the cool night air. Liam's shoulders were tense, his hands stuffed in his pockets. I couldn't hear all the words, but I caught fragments. You're never around anymore. And it's not about him. Him. I don't know if Adrian meant me. I don't know if I wanted him to. The next day, Liam was quiet. He didn't sit next to me in the meeting. He didn't walk me to class. It was like he'd pulled back, and I didn't know why. Weeks passed. The distance between us grew until it felt like those first months again, me. Invisible, him untouchable. It was the night of the senior farewell party when everything finally came to a head. The gym was decorated in strings of fairy lights, the air thick with the smell of cheap punch and too much perfume. I was standing by the bleachers, trying not to look like I wanted to leave, when Liam appeared beside me. Hey, he said, his voice softer than the music. I forced a smile. Hey. We stood in silence for a moment, watching couples sway awkwardly in the center of the gym. Then he said, Adrian and I broke up. My heart tripped over itself. Oh, I'm sorry. He shook his head. Don't be. It was coming for a while. I didn't know what to say. Every rational part of me screamed to keep my mouth shut, to just nod and change the subject. But something in his expression, tired, vulnerable, made me speak. "I like you, Liam." The words were out before I could take them back. My chest felt like it might collapse under the weight of them. For a heartbeat, he just stared at me. Then slowly he smiled. "I know," he said. "I was just waiting for you to say it." He stepped closer, close enough that I could smell the faint scent of his cologne, and for the first time in months, I didn't feel invisible. When he kissed me, it wasn't like the ones I'd seen in the cafeteria. It was hesitant, almost shy, but real, and it was ours. We didn't start dating right away. We talked first a lot, about the messy timeline of his breakup, about my fears, about what it would mean for both of us if we stopped hiding. By graduation, we were holding hands in public. People whispered, of course, but neither of us cared. I had spent so long loving him in silence. Now I got to love him out loud, and that, I realized, was worth every ache that had come before. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.